Hi, everyone. I'm Regina, and you are you. So, how's everyone today? I see everybody's here already. Actually, nobody's here. So, anyway, I hope that everything's working out well. Just one of those days where everyone's busy, I guess. Um, hey, Naya, how are you today? Oh, good, because you're it. Oh my. So, first things first, let me get all the business out of the way, and then I am just ready to chat up community crazy. So, anyway, this is my channel, Conversation with Regina. I would love it if you subscribed and followed me and oh mercy, and give me a bunch of likes and whatnot. And I just ordered new internet today to give me some speeds so I can kind of improve my picture and do whatever. And so we need to grow this channel a little bit. Yep. So anyway, it'll all be fun. It's all going to work out the way it's supposed to, you know. So just subscribe and like, and that's all I ask. Um, uh, I've got a note. I've got crib notes today. And so as far as other channels, there are Vintage Vanity, who is in the house with us today. I'm not sure what she has coming up, and maybe she could let me know right now. Diane Salome has got a channel, and Chloe Connection, Brittany D, and Marty Beyond Trans. She has Kate Bornstein will be her guest on Sunday, and so we want to tune in for that. Kate's a well-known trans author and whatnot. Hey, Jamie. And so, let's tune in for that and support our community. I mean, if we're going to talk about community, let's figure out what community is, and we're going to talk about that here in a few minutes. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was Ray's Roast Coffee. Oh, okay. Perfume reviews on Vintage Vanity, and she wants to talk about Bandit by Robert Piguet. Piguet? Hey, Casey. All right. Well, sounds good. Sounds good. Excellent. When do you think you'll have that going? So anyway, Ray's Roast Coffee. I'm the owner, the chief roaster, and main purveyor of Ray's Roast Coffee. We ship coffee all across the United States. We have a website, www.raysroast, REYSROAST.com. And, I recommend buying 3 pounds at a time because you get the best break on shipping. The shipping's kind of like a solid piece. And so you can get up to 3 pounds on the lower rate, and then up to 6 pounds on the higher rate. And so that kind of helps with the cost a little bit per pound. I do full 16-ounce pounds of coffee in a compostable bag. I don't like those plastic bags. Because we have to watch out for our planet, and so try and do compostable bags when you can, if possible. Just saying. I specialize in single origin varietals, and so I've got coffees from all over the world, from Africa, South America, Central America, and Asia, the Sumatra area. And so, I usually have a little over 10 pound or 10 different types of coffee. And all of them are like single origin varietals, whether that be from a single farm or from a single co-op. Because a lot of places in Africa, the land holdings are so small, and the mills are so expensive that not every farm has one, and so they form co-ops. And a lot of these co-ops in Africa are owned by women, and so it's interesting. We can support. My coffee is our direct with the farmers, and so we're giving them the best price possible, and so it's a good deal. I do blend one coffee, and I do it in two different roasts. There's a dark roast for it and a lighter roast, and it's called the Queen's Blend. Stands to reason, doesn't it? So anyway, give us a shot if you drink coffee, and if you don't, thanks for thinking about us anyway. And so now let's get on to who's in the chat room saying hi. So Casey's here, Naya's here, and Diana's here, and Jamie's here. And we got 4 people here and 2 likes. Oh, Casey, how could you? How is everybody today? All right. I like this salute, but we don't have to go down that path if we don't want to. So I want to talk about community, and here we are. This is our immediate community right here, and so I did a definition of community earlier today. Let's see if I can find it. I shut my. Oh no, I didn't. And see if I can get that to come back up. And whoops, that's not it. Oh, I lost it. So anyway, community is really a group of people that is close around you. I always think of my community locally here is if I go out on, a couple of blocks from my house here, stand in the middle of Main Street and look around, and everything I see is my community. And then there's this community, the Cyber Vibe tribe, and then there's the community of the transgenders, and there's all these different communities. But one of the things that I like to do is get rid of the freaking labels. And so our community is everybody. And that makes me think of one of my readings today. So are we ready for 2 paragraphs in Regina's reading room? Amen. I am with you, Naya. So I'm going to read for a second out of the Polishing the Mirror. And this is really a little thing that Ram Dass wrote early in his becoming Ram Dass, and it was in the 70s. and they were doing a box set of records called Love, Serve, and Remember. It was really a nice box with 6 records and a beautiful booklet with text and photos and drawings. My father, the lawyer and CEO, looked at it and said, "This is pretty good. How much do you sell it for?" I told him we sold it for just a little more than it cost to produce. He said, "You know, you could charge much more for this. It's worth it, and you could make more money." I asked Dad how much he charged Uncle Henry when he represented him in a legal matter. He replied, "Well, of course I didn't charge him anything. That's Uncle Henry. He's family." I said that was my dilemma too. I see everyone as Uncle Henry. We're all related. So, you know, that's the cool thing. We're all related. We're human beings. We're all part of the world community. And how do we, how do we keep it real? I am so tired of everything true. I mean, I want to blur the frickin' lines on everything. I want to blur label lines. I'm tired of it. So anyway, where was I? Where was I? So community is everyone, and how do we get along, and how do we make that so? I remember back several years, it was still in this century, and I was living in a little town over in Oregon, and for some reason I went to the grocery store and I was talking to one of the checkers, and I got home and I realized that I have become part of the community. And I had never felt that way up to that time, because during all my years of addiction and whatnot, I didn't really have anything to do with the community. I stayed pretty much away from it, didn't try to make friends with a lot of people, didn't try to even interact with people. You go to town, you do your business, and you get out. And so this was really a thing for me. And so I loved it, and so I started acting differently and being more outward towards people in the community, and they reciprocated, and so that grew. So when I came to this town and I started my transition, me and this other lady, we fixed up a Thanksgiving meal and served it a week before Thanksgiving, invited anybody that wanted to come. And we fed like 50 people or 70 people. It was cool. And I really felt rewarded with that and didn't charge anybody anything because we're all related, and ever since then, I've been part of this community. This is one of the most accepting communities for a little conservative community in Eastern Washington, 400 miles or 300 miles from Seattle, 400 from Portland, 500 from Vancouver. And wow. And it is what it is. People will just, if you just are authentic with them, and my experience is, as they've gotten to know me more as Regina, I move freely in this town. the one down the road, the one down the road beyond that, and I don't even think about anything when I go anyplace. I'm just Regina out doing stuff, and that that is life here, and I don't know how it plays out other places, but yeah, there was resistance to my transition, but I actually never saw that much of it because I was part of the community, and as people became accustomed to that, and and it's just so that would be the way to form community, to step outside of your exactly. Yeah. And just be real, so oh, I have seen from one of the local Facebook pages, where it's like the LGBT community in the Tri-Cities, which is what, an hour and a half from here. They're always talking about who's friendly toward to do business with, for non-binary or trans folks. And I'm always going, why would you even worry about that? You go someplace, and if you like the way they treat you, you go back. If you don't like the way they treat you, you don't feed them, you know? And that's just kind of a no-brainer for me. So why would we want to put the banners up and I don't mind how, for people to know on my business card there's certainly a LGBT flag, and so it is what it is, and so that's kind of my spiel. There's more to talk about, but let's see what's going on in the room, in the chat room. Who have I missed coming in? So I said hi to Diana and Jessica Dean. Hi, Jessica. How are you today? And Showgirl Sarah. Hi. How are you? Oh. Well, you guys really got it going on here in the chat room, Naya, you are just so right on with most all of this, that's probably why we're friends, huh? Yeah. Well, I think sometimes when we are first starting out, all of our thoughts and focus is on just being this other person, to be our authentic self, as opposed to always play acting or being this other person that you no longer are going to identify as. And so I think for a couple of years, probably, we become somewhat narcissistic, and then as reality strikes, we kind of like shed that. We can start carrying on a conversation when it's not about me. My friend Denise, she used to just say, she would just say, God, Regina, why didn't you talk about something else? You and I are friends. You don't really have to tell me all of this, and I thought, oh my God, am I that bad? And she goes, some days, and another friend that I would talk to, she would say, you know, you ever talk about, why can't you talk about me for a minute? And so I started listening to that kind of feedback and trying to take it to heart without taking it personally, because they're really just trying to help me. That's what friends are for. Those are our allies. Lara wanted to talk about allies to a certain extent. And I don't even know really what an ally is. I mean, because people are my friends, they're part of my community, and I don't have another label. I mean, there's the community that I live in where most people I'm friendly with. And then there are my friends. And and there are people who are supportive. And supportive people I cherish and whatnot, but I really kind of consider them to be friends and not so much allies. Um, to me, ally is just another label that we don't really need. And so that's kind of where I'm at with all that. And I see, we got Jessica Stonebams. How are you doing today? And Jamie, excellent. Excellent. I'm an individual. I represent myself as a woman, and I'm not LGBTIQA activist. Cool. Well, I think sometimes that whole narcissistic thing when we first transition is just a passing phase, and hopefully we don't get locked into it. I mean, I kind of was, but still, my whole mission was to love everybody, and as long as we're thinking in those directions, I think that that's a pretty good idea. But Naya, if there are people outside of our community, to me, I guess part of what I'm trying to say is our community is everyone, even if they're not part of the LGBT people, and if they're friends, they're going to defend us, and so I don't know, because sometimes I see what you're saying. I do. I really do. So so where are you moving the bus to, Stone Mams? Oh my. Well, what a great conversation you guys are having there. I get caught up kind of reading it and being quiet for a couple of minutes. So I don't know. There's more of you here now. So like I just upgraded my internet connection today. And so like on the 10th, so the 11th, I should be able to really rock and roll with the internet connection, and we can make that jump that I was trying to do. What was it? Sunday afternoon or Monday, I guess, when I got on here for a little bit, and everything was kind of herky jerky. Oh, nice. Does the label trans invalidate us as women from sex reassignment? I wouldn't think so. I'm not trying to invalidate anybody. Here. Excellent. I can hardly wait, so I can bring some of these comments over here and put up like we've seen done before. I think that would be nice. Yeah, I like the way Diana puts that too. Well, it is a sex change and not a gender change. Our gender is female, but our sex was male. I changed my sex, not my gender. So, yeah, that makes perfectly good sense to me. A nice way of saying it. I get kind of like lost, because I just want everybody to love everybody, and for us all to be one community, regardless of much of anything, whether it's gender identification or race or anything else. We're all human beings, and to me, the community is the world, and that we need to respect each other and move forward. And so it kind of looks like most everyone thinks that same way, with slight differences, but we're all kind of on the same page. So yeah, I'm all about blurring labels. I don't really care for labels that much. And so what have we missed? I guess now would be the time for questions. Asking from societies. Oh dear. Society's point of view doesn't always match mine, that's for darn sure. But I guess so I can't really speak for that very well, being the opinionated person that I am, because I've got no control over what society thinks, and the only way that we can change that society's thought pattern is just in the way that we approach our lives, I guess. Thanks, Sarah. If I walk out the door and I treat somebody poorly, and that reflects back to all of us, who are in this cyber vibe community here, and if I go out and treat people with love and compassion, and that reflects back to all of us. And so if we all move forward in a good orderly direction like that, and kind of treat the world with love and compassion, and pretty soon it appears to me that we are earning and gaining respect and the love and compassion that we put out. And so that's kind of my thoughts on what I can do to what's the word I'm looking for? Alter society is just by being the best person I can be, by being a good representative of this community, and everything else other than what I do is actually none of my business. Everything past the end of this nose is none of my business. And that's kind of why I do this show. Kind of, I don't know, that's just where I'm at. And exactly, smother them with kindness and radiate on a higher energy. Love it, love it, love it. Yes. You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar, as my grandmother always used to say. And so, that's life. And I used to travel up and down the highway when I was working in the backcountry. I was always on the road, and then you'd hit these little quick stops. You'd run in and grab a cup of coffee, and there'd be this crabby person in there, and I would think, God, how do you keep people stopping by? You just like bushwhacking them, and so I would start stopping and talking to them until I could make them smile, and it was more fun. I got to meet all the ladies up and down the highway, and sometimes those faces would just start lighting up, and it was so cool, to see those turn into a smile. And I kind of miss being on the road for that, Jamie, that's a good question. Do we smother her or do we admonish her? I kind of think that we're better off to ignore her or smother her. If we totally ignored her and just kind of let it be known that, you can't, because what she thinks is none of my business. I don't care, Yeah, it'd be nice if you weren't talking shit about people, but am I going to change her mind? I doubt it. We collectively are probably not going to change her mind. So if we don't give her any celebrity or let her into our pathways, mental pathways, then what power does she have? It's always kind of like, she's not paying me rent for space in my head. So why should I let her be there? I don't really care. I've never read a Harry Potter book and don't really intend to start this week and or ever. I don't have to support her. I don't have to go to Harry Potter movies. I don't have to do anything. To me, she's just, she's just a human. I don't care. Sorry. But it's not necessary to let people have the space in your head. I've been reading a book about You Can't Make Me Angry. And that's the kind of stuff. How does that affect me right this moment? It doesn't affect me at all in this moment. And this moment is all that's really important. Right now, right here, J.K. Rowling has no power with me. It's that simple. Exactly, Diana. Exactly. Here, Diana's saying some local people tell me that I am the only person of a trans origin they have ever knowingly met, and because of me, they learn firsthand what we really are. And that is the truth. Most people don't know. So all we have to do is present in a loving, kind fashion, and we get the reputation of being kind, loving people, and we all benefit. What was it, a year or so ago or several months ago, there was a video that went viral about some trans lady blowing up in a department store, and somebody filmed it. And that kind of virality offends me, because that lady was doing no good for you or me, either one, and she was having a fit because somebody misgendered her, used the wrong pronoun. Oh my God, they were at fault. And her blowing up certainly didn't change their mind. But, I having run a coffee shop where I was at every day on a highway, people from all over swing in. My voice is not very ladylike, probably. And for a long time, I got misgendered with the wrong pronouns. And I just kind of after a while, I started going, ma'am, if you would, please. And right at the very end, right before we closed, there was some guy came in and I said, ma'am, if you would, please. He just kept sirring me and just dry. And after about the fourth time, ma'am, if you would, please, I said, excuse me, I don't believe that I look much like a fucking sir, I said to him. And I said it just like that. And he goes, oh my God, no, you don't. I said, well, then why can't you just call me ma'am? And he said, well, even 20 some odd years in the military, and we even called the lady officers sir. And I said, well, you ain't in the military anymore. And I find it to be offensive. And so he apologized and but we didn't, we didn't have an argument about anything. He was really pretty apologetic once he figured out that it was offensive. Um, So, we were talking about allies a little while ago, and this morning on Facebook, I saw one of my friends, and this woman's family has opened up their lives, houses, their family to me. When there's a holiday, I get invited to that family, and she posted some deal that I found somewhat offensive on Facebook this morning, and I just thought, oh my stars, you're my ally, because I was thinking about allies, and I kind of took offense from it, because it was like somebody being dressed as a nun and kissing somebody. It took me back to the vomiting in Disclosure, and I just thought, God, how can you do this? And people make mistakes because they don't think about what's offensive and what's not. They've never been in our shoes, and so how do we how do we fix that kind of stuff? I gotta check, see what everybody's saying. So how big is your village, Sarah? I see. Okay. What was beautiful was to support the cast of Harry Potter. Yeah, right on, right on. Yeah. Just to be perfectly clear, Casey, I am not the only trans lady in this town here. Of 2,500, there are two other ladies who are like my age, and I don't see them out very much. One of them only lives a couple of doors away from me, and I'm friends with both. And then there's a younger lady who works at the pot shop, and her family. I do things with her mother, but I very seldom ever see her. Very seldom. Sometimes I'll get invited to something where their whole family is, and she'll be there. But so that's like four of us that live in this town of 2,500 people, or 2,400. So that's pretty, I think that's a pretty good rate of, yeah, I don't battle with people either, Naya. I mean, what's the point? Everybody knows who in this town. And I went to my doctor yesterday, and my skin doctor, because I had to have a checkup, and got another. Oh, you can't even see the Band-Aid. Had another biopsy. Oh my God. But anyway, I was surprised as she was talking to me. She was like telling me about my life, and I'm in the bigger town of 30,000 or something, half an hour away, and I really had only seen this doctor minimally. I've just started going to her because of skin issues, and she knew, it seemed like she'd been doing research on me. Of course, I make the newspaper with probably a little more regularity than a lot of people do because I'm in business, and so I was kind of surprised. And so I said something about doing this show, and she goes, "Well, what's it about?" And I said, "Well, just kind of, I'm kind of an advocate for transgender people and whatnot." And she, and oh, you know, it was interesting. I don't know what I'm reading into that, or if there's anything to read into it. Um, it was interesting though. I mean, it just goes to show how there's a certain amount of knowledge that everyone has of me around here, and but maybe it's not that all encompassing either. So I don't know where I was going with that. So Jamie, I know in 1990 I was able to legally change my driver's license sex, which is how I survived as a young adult to work. And my fear is how future turfs can influence. Turfs, that's a whole nother topic for someday. Although I don't know why we would even bother talking about them. It's the less energy we put into them, the better off we are, because they're pretty much the minority amongst women, in my personal opinion. From what I've seen, the only real turf I've met is my ex. But I don't want to go down that road. Anyway, oh dear. I have a friend who's transgender who lives her dress up and shows her vagina to everyone who misgenders her. It is mortifying. Yeah, I can imagine that. Where oh, I just rolled that up and now I can't find it. Oh. So I can formulate from everyone's comments, you all seem to have developed a strong backbone to overcome. I guess that's it, Jamie. You know, I'm so glad to hear that. Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Anne Rice loves. I haven't read any Anne Rice either. Oh, maybe I did back in the day. Rosie O'Kelly on YouTube, seen her channel years ago and completely misjudged her back then, but recently came across her channel the last few months and find her refreshing. And what is Rosie O'Kelly about? You know, Casey, you bring up a good point. You feel kind of alone, and I think often that we feel alone, and um, we're kind of not, like you say, um, because we need to like look at the bigger picture. Yeah, there's all kinds of non-conforming folks now, and I want to talk about that one of these days too. Um, but you know, it's within all of us to be able to find friends, you know. Of all the people I run around with, I'm the only um, trans person that I run around with. You know, occasionally the my neighbor and I and several other people will go have coffee on Saturday morning, and you know, it I always kind of call it the LGBT crew, and it's, you know, a small percentage of that community here in this small town, and and they're all, you know, I love them all to pieces, but it's not everybody, and you know, it's it's great, but mostly, you know, I go with with this other family, or I mean, my friend Denise is, you know, God, we talk about everything anymore, and we go hiking and do all kinds of things. Sometimes I do stuff by myself, and the only time I ever really feel alone is when I'm feeling sorry for myself for one reason or another. You know, the whole thing about being at ease is here, you know, because I've been in rooms with hundreds of people and felt pretty freaking alone before. I don't really think it makes any difference whether we can relate to them on this level or what. It's really kind of an inside job as to how alone we feel, in my opinion. So, where are we at? Oh, my friend Holly is here. Oh, so Holly asks the question, why are people so hateful? And it's, you know, I would like other folks to weigh in on that. Um, but to me, it's just like they lack knowledge of, you know, look at themselves as being different, or as anybody that's different that can't see or hear, or identifies different gender wise, then out of fear they can't handle it, and would they say fear? No, no, they're not even going to recognize their fear. But yeah, we don't understand each other fully. It's like we're all boxes in a room. We share a room, but are filled with different things and can't understand what's going on inside the other boxes. Well said, Casey. Ignorant and uneducated. Oh, and yes, intimidated and scared, superiority. Exactly. So, Jamie, back to Posey Parker and her army of turfs. You know, if we don't let them rent space in our head, what damage can they do? You know, if nobody pays any attention to them, are they even still there? Unless it it's like you go someplace. I like to go on Medium, and there's a lot of trans writers on there, but half of them are talking negative stuff. Bringing up the Posey Parkers and the J.K. Rowlings and all of these things that separate us from humanity. And when we talk about things that separate us, we become separated. And when we look at the positive things and I like to look at how great my life has become since I transitioned, and how I can sit here and be grateful for the things that I feel today that I could never feel before. And so all the turfs in the world can't take that away from me every morning as I'm looking out my window in the safety of my own home. And you know, and it's my choice who and what I'm going to pay attention to. And those negative things, how I used to read all that stuff, and I'm aware that it isn't good for everyone out there. But if we could change the way that if I change the way that I look at the world gets better. If I change the way to a darker world, my good world doesn't stay good. When I read about J.K. Rowling and I start spinning on that stuff about the things that they're doing to hatefulness and all of that, then I start building hate inside here. I don't want to hate. It's part of the reason I don't want politics to come up very much on this channel is because we don't need to talk about it. Plenty of other people are espousing the hate and whatnot. Let's look at the good that we can bring to the world, and so the turfs can do whatever they fucking want, and as long as it's not hurting us, physically, if we don't pay any attention to them, what harm, So okay, well, I guess it's a trans exclusive radical feminist is what TERF stands for. So like what they're saying is oh shit, I don't want to get into it, but they exclude us from anything as far as having to do with women. For look to the people who are inspirational and full of love, light, and kindness. That often makes my day, connecting with others on a human level. Thanks, Naya. Love it. And absolutely, this is what we're shooting for here, because as all things go, TERFs are a pretty small minority. You know, oh, what a great conversation we got going here. Oh my gosh. My coffee's getting cold. I get so busy. I get so wrapped up in all of this, I forget to drink my coffee. Oh, my stars. Did I tell you about the geisha that I got from Costa Rica the other day, and I finally roasted some of it? I pay big bucks for this. I got 20 pounds and it cost me, oh, I don't even want to tell you, but it cost me over 300, and there's, and I still have to roast it, and oh, my stars. But anyway, that makes a good cup of coffee. Some of those geishas go for like $600 a pound out of Panama. And holy smokes, I was glad to get this one at a amount that I could afford to do. So we're going to have that as a Christmas special here later, but it's very limited amount. I don't know if it'll ever make the website, but if you wanted, you could like shoot me an email or something, and we might be able to get you 8 ounces of it. It'll be sold in 8-ounce bags, I think, and try and make it affordable that way. So an 8-ounce bag gets you what, 8, 9, maybe 10 cups of coffee. If you make coffee like I do, I use an AeroPress, and I put about an ounce of coffee in each cup of coffee I make. I like strong coffee, that's for sure. Oh, I'm getting off track here. I had to take a little coffee break, and oh, the one that I don't have up for anything on sale yet, Holly. It's Costa Rica. Just talk to me, and I don't have it on the website. I don't even think my webmaster knows that I have it. I sell my coffee through my website, Sarah, which is www.raise, REYS, roast, ROAST, raiseroast.com. I have two restaurants, a coffee shop, and then a couple retail outlets. And I sell really good. I sell a really good decaf, a water processed. It's an organic method, and actually, the coffee that comes out of that decaf coffee actually tastes like coffee. And but I'm not going to pretend that I can ship it to you in Belgium for any kind of good deal for either one of us. You know, I can't imagine. It cost me like $20, or God, I sent some up to Canada, and oh man, I'm not doing that again. Oh, cool. Naya, you're just so full of good news here. I love this. A sales associate. That I love to go shop and to talk with all the sales associates. You know, I I love that. I make friends with them, and then I go back and hunt down the people, and it makes shopping really fun. When Macy's was still open in Walla Walla, around the makeup counter, I had all these friends, and I would go in there to just BS with the ladies around the makeup counters, because they would see me, and our work would cease, and we would be sitting there having fun. And self-love and self-empowerment. I love that. I love that. Right on. Right on. Kiss them and be glad you got them to walk on, even though they're hard to find shoes that fit and are comfortable, you know. At least that's my feed, you know. Thankfully, it's not that hard to get a good 12, but if they were any bigger, a 13, I can't imagine trying to find 13. Consequently, I've got a closet that's just heaped with shoes. I completely understand, Diana. Look at these. Look at these. But you know what? This one's still pretty bad, but this one's starting to be better. But then there's all the bad skin on them, and oh gosh. Oh dear. Well, Sarah. Oh dear. So anyway, well, we've got 8 people watching and only 5 likes. Now let's get those likes up there. Is our video quality okay today? A size 9 in men's, Holly, would be like a size 10 in women's, probably. Yes, yes, yes. Mantra from one another to love and empower ourselves and be grateful. And that's what we really, really need to keep working on, is that love ourselves and how to empower ourselves. And when we're talking, we're building each other up. And, you know, because that's how we empower each other, is we don't tear people down, that we build them up. And that is like a key ingredient to community. Rather, let's build community and other, as opposed to anything else. Because if we're not doing that, then we're doing anything else. And so I love that. I'm so glad that you brought that up, you know, to build up each other. And so part of the, you know, beauty is flawed. Yeah. You know, as a biologist, I was a trained biologist, and I learned that there is something beautiful in every landscape, regardless. When I was a kid, we lived up where the trees were, and then my mother's ancestral family lived down here in the Palouse, where there's very few trees, and we would like laugh and, oh my God, how can those people survive down there? As children, we're talking like that. And then, years went on, and I had moved to the west side of the state. And I was talking to a gentleman one day, and he was moving back to the east side where there was not forest, and he was just suffocated by the trees of Western Washington, and he wanted to go back to the open spaces. And eventually I moved down to the Boise area and was mortified, because you would be standing out in the middle someplace and you could see 50, 60, 100 miles. God, you could see forever. That mountain over there, it's not blocked by trees because there is none between here and there. And I it was just that vast big sky country kind of thing. And as the years passed that I lived there, I eventually moved back up to northern Idaho, and I had to get out of there. Too many freaking trees. And oh mercy, you know I have grown to where I like it all. I don't care what the countryside looks like. It's all good. And that's the flawed beauty of life. There's something pretty in everything. And what a wonderful thing. Excellent. Thanks, Holly. And so, you know, Oh, so our conversation's gone to shoe size. So I'm wrong in the one size apparently, but I always, I was 11 in men's and I put a 13 on and I walk right out of them. I can't keep them on my feet, and because so, but then I find that a lot of 12s are too small for me. So I go by the European size and they have to be a 43 because some 12s are only 42s and I can wear a 40 comfortably, but I can't wear a 42 comfortably. I can wear them, but only for a little while. What kind of store is Zara? That's a cool name, Zara. One of my friends is that I walk dogs with sometimes, her dog's name is Zara. Huh, I might have to do that. Are they a big national chain or oh, oh, so it's a East Coast thing. Oh, I like street inspired stuff. Well, I don't know about. I'll be darned. How long have you lived in Miami Beach? You know, the worst part about not having my coffee shop anymore is I don't have any place to wear dresses now. No reason. I'm kind of fallen back into the pants thing, and I kind of like wearing dresses. So I always put on a skirt for this. Um, I almost had on a oh mercy, Anyway, um, Mango, cool boot shoes, and I missed something someplace. I hope so too, Jamie. But we're doing good. I hope you find peace and happiness as well. Are you leaving for the day? Oh, wonderful. How'd you like that? I have some friends that are moving to Panama soon. As soon as he retires, his wife is from Panama, and I'm hoping to go down and visit them when they go. A one-way ticket. Yeah, my coffee shop closed. We closed for the COVID thing in March, at the end of March. And then my landlord had kind of given me a reprieve from the rent, and then he was going to raise it back up. And I said, well, I think that I'm just done. you know, I really have become somewhat grateful to the COVID, um, because it made me realize that for my age that I was too busy. You know, I've worked hard most of my life. You know, I started working and supporting myself when I was 16. And, you know, my business still supports me. Um, but I was starting to work 60, 70 hours a week. And I was thinking at 69 years old that that was a little bit too much for that. I wasn't having any fun. Like so many things had gotten to be chores and it was very stressful. And so I just kind of like decided, you know, I'm just going to close the coffee shop. I think I can do just as well without it. And what I had kept it open for was for the talking it up with people. You know, I wanted to be around the people. And and so, you know, I miss the people. I do. I miss the people dearly, and I very seldom, you know, once or twice a week go out for coffee now. But so, you know, I'm pretty content right now, you know, doing this, roasting coffee. I roast coffee 2, 3 nights a week. I have to roast tonight because I'm going golfing tomorrow because it's going to be 60 degrees here again. And but you know, I'm like pretty content. I'm pretty content. You know, I get to chit chat with all you guys, and that's pretty darn special to me. And so anyway, oh, you go pop-up shops. I have contemplated that, you know, um, out where the food co-op is, my roastery is also in the same building. And I have thought when they have events out there that I would, you know, give coffee away, give, you know, try and have a presence, spend the day chatting up people. But I want the virus to stop first. I don't want to have I have trouble hearing when people are talking into their mask, and so it's sometimes, God, sometimes it's just difficult, and my handicap. Oh, Holly, that would be taking it way too serious, but it's about 20. Yeah, exactly. Put on a dress and go outside the co-op. But now it's getting too cold to wear a dress. It's good here in the house. I just threw on any old skirt today, but little, oh God, it felt good to stand up. My stars. Oh, springtime after COVID. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Well, let's hope that springtime brings an end to all this. I have my doubts right now. Um, Gosh, I had started talking to somebody about taking a trip in February, and then I was telling this other person about it, and they go, "Are you serious? You think COVID's going to be over in February and you want to travel to Mexico? Good luck with that." Um, I'm wearing my mask the rest of my life, and that's a distinct possibility that we have to do that. And that's but I want that. I'm not. I didn't kind of change my mind about going. I don't want to go because I always get sick when I fly anyway. Because there's always somebody on the frickin' plane that's got the flu or something. God, that last year we went to Belize. God, first we was my ex was sick, and then I got her healthy, and out of the 3 weeks that we were there, uh, we were sick like 2 weeks. Luckily, we had rented a house, but well, thanks, Jamie. We're still talking. It might come back, and I don't know. It was Ash. Experience, strength, and hope. Um, but it's nice to hear. I just want Marty to feel good, you know, and so anyway, uh, oh gosh, we've gone an hour and a half, and so it's time to wrap this up. What a great show we had today. I really thought that we got someplace with community, and oh, thank you so much for being part of my community. Uh, let's take a couple of deep breaths and chill out. You know, do those. Oh gosh, we've all done them now. And so, uh, hey, come on now. Um, let's have a good week, and I'll see you next week. I look forward to it. I've enjoyed this a lot today, and you know, life is good. And life is good, and so let's be supportive of each other, and keep in mind that we're all of the same community. So much love to you ladies out there and gentlemen and whoever. And so life is good. Thank you so much for everyone today. Thank you so much for being part of the conversation. And thank you so much for the support. And much love to everybody. Bye-bye. Take care. And we'll talk to you soon.